who calls it a Tyrannosaurus dropkick, but it's clearly a Brontosaurus Rex.
That was fantastic.
I was like, God, this guy's good. This guy's
Seasoned.
he's a
Seasoned vet, grizzled young vet.
I'm loving how goofy, college level improv, Matt and Bray are already.
God, it is. I didn't think they were gonna go full tilt Gonzo with it.
No,
and
they did.
They just deep end. Here's the cliff, and then here's that fucking train just chugging along into the canyon. I love
Such
it.
good stuff. Welcome to Kayfabe Club. I'm Brian Ferguson.
Nick Desjardins,
Robert Thackrey.
Looking at
Baby.
tweets.
Robert Thackrey, baby.
Perfectly okay with that.
Yes.
I'm a mark.
Yup.
Yep. It's been like a week of just catchphrases and like not particularly memorable matches for the most part.
Yeah, it was just a weird week. I felt like
Yeah.
it started off amazing on Sunday, and then from there it's just been like peaks and valleys, and I don't even know.
There's like little redeeming moments in what's otherwise snooze fest. Like most of wrestling this week for me was like doing laundry while trying to pay attention, and laundry was way more captivating most of the time.
6 weeks until the Royal Rumble.
Ugh.
Oh, Jesus.
I couldn't even tell you how not interested in that I am already.
Oh, so no 6 week early booking, like pre-booking of the Rumble?
No, I don't care. Who opened up Raw? Or it was a promo.
Was it Angle?
Joe.
Joe.
Yeah. That's why I blanked out, because
It was Joe calling out Roman, and like why I was gonna tweet this, but I couldn't figure out a way to properly do it without it making it sound really long. But like, why are they still doing this like backstage? We're all gonna look at the TV bullshit, because like that, like they should all have a locker room, like go into the locker room like they used to do it in like the early 2000s,
right?
Where, like they had this thing where it looks more believable, and then you saw Roman walk away after that whole thing, and it's literally just a set with a TV that says WWE in the middle of the backstage locker room. Like, this is just the weirdest thing that you could have ever done.
I thought
like, it just looks terrible.
their backstage or
The
all
backstage
of, like,
promos
their
are
backstage
awful.
promos and their in-ring promos could just go away, and I would be a way happier person.
So it's Seth watching Joe's promo on TV,
It's
and
Seth,
then
and
Seth taps Dean, and he's like, "You see this? Go get Roman."
No,
and Dean,
his exact words are, "Go get the big dog," which is the worst thing that anyone has ever said.
I'm hoping
terrible.
I was secretly hoping Dean would go off the deep end and just come in with a huge border collie. Instead, he just turned, and then Roman is conveniently walking down the hallway. "Hey Roman, you see this?" Jesus.
I caught kind of like the r/squared circle recaps. Like I kind of check or take a look at those on Tuesdays, because I usually don't get around to watching until Thursdays. And I knew that Dean was gonna fight Joe, and I was watching that promo, and I was like listening to it, and I was like, oh, so Dean's gonna go out and do his crazy person thing instead of going to get Roman.
Right.
And then they did not that.
No.
So
not
like
at all.
there were, while simultaneously making everything more boring and neutering Dean.
Yeah. And I'm starting to feel like is it just me, or does it feel like Dean is still the most over in the Shield?
He is.
He
Is the Shield over?
Yeah.
I think that
I
for
feel
the
like
most
we're
part,
all apathetic to the Shield, and I feel like the crowd, for the most part, like they've hopped for it, but it's like
we're doing this because we have to.
yeah.
2/3 of the Shield is over, and when that third part of the Shield is not present, they get just their regular cheers.
I feel like Roman is literally pulling down the other two. And it's less noticeable with Dean, but it's definitely visible with Seth.
Yes.
Because Seth doesn't work as a face.
No, he's just not. He was a really, really good heel, and he had some kind of good moments coming out of the Authority, because at least there was something, or because there was, you get to have the protege versus the teacher kind of stuff, which is always kind of fun to watch. But
that angle really didn't work either.
It worked
Nah.
in a way that it got
was
Stephanie
really
off TV for a while.
It was really rushed because like Seth was injured and they came back and sort of like rushed the angle in 2 weeks, and then both Steph and Triple H went off TV for like 6 months. So like it was like a 3-week sort of feud that was supposed to have like 2 months worth of build, and it just didn't work.
Right.
And then Seth was like magically a face kinda. So but like Seth was getting face cheers when he was stealing the belt from like Roman and Lesnar and stuff like that. He's like de facto, we don't want them, so like you're the guy. So like he's always been like a weird tweener, not because he was supposed to be, but because of what he represented in taking away opportunities from
The people
less
who are
liked
normally
wrestlers.
taking
He
opportunities
was
away from people.
he was what he was in effect a sort of stand-in for the crowd's wants, which we're not getting right now.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
It was like, all right, if we can't fill in anybody else, we'll take this.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had that promo. Joe's promos they're all right, and then they all came out and kind of like got into like a brawlish type thing. And
Is it just me, or would Joe be better if he talked less?
I like Joe's talking.
Do you?
I think Joe comes off as what I like about Joe's talking is he comes off as menacing and intelligent. Like he legitimately
He's
comes
cerebral.
off like he is a strategist. You know, he is a big fucking brawler that has a plan when he gets in the ring with you.
I get that.
And I don't know, I think it works for him.
Maybe it's
I don't
just
mind it.
because they're doing this whole Joe Roman thing that I just don't give a shit at all.
There's not much that can be said.
Really?
Like, Miz has said it better, and he's saying the exact same thing. So like Joe's
Right.
kind of like a stand-in for the Miz. So I think what you're seeing is that you're getting irritated with Joe's promos, and the fact that like Miz has already done these promos before. He's already shot on Roman for like being unlikable, and for being the only reason why he's liked is for being part of the Shield. So like they're all just saying the same things.
Here's what I want. Joe wins the belt. And that way we can get what we've been talking about, and that is a realistic way for the other top mid-carders to have an opportunity at things. Because you know what? The reality of having somebody who is being pushed to the top like Roman is you don't have to have him have a belt because you're obviously going to keep pushing him to the main event anyway.
To me, the reason they have the belt on Roman, one is to get Roman over, but two, they put the belt on Roman because now the Intercontinental belt is sort of de facto the top belt on Raw because Brock Lesnar only exists once every 3 months.
Yeah, he's like Rumpelstiltskin kind of guy.
He'll be back next week, I think, is what they said. Like,
Yeah, but he'll be back
he's there not often enough to point where it's an attraction that he even shows up on Raw.
Right.
Like they advertise that like that's a big thing.
He will be there so that Paul Heyman can talk.
Yes. And really, Paul Heyman could just talk every week, and I'd be fine with that.
Yeah. He's
I think
great on commentary.
after that, because that set up basically the card for the rest of the night. They had Dean versus Joe, like you've already said. We haven't said Seth versus Sheamus, which we've seen multiple times. It was
I
fine.
don't remember how that match ended.
Oh, I remember how it was, and it was a garbage match.
And
Oh, shit. Yeah, he won with the knee, didn't he?
Yeah,
Cesaro versus Reigns.
Yeah.
So that was the middle promo, or the beginning promo was
This
set up
whole
for the
thing
rest of the
exists
rest
so
of the
that we
card.
can make our podcast short or episode shorter. So
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
just go ahead and do this as quickly as we can because it won't really take a whole lot of time. We had the 6-woman tag, which was fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Probably one of the better parts, but I mean, it's getting to the point where it's kind of
We all got to look at Mandy Rose for like 10 minutes.
and that was great.
Yeah.
Sasha and Paige were out there in their shirts, and it was a 4-man tag with I think Sarah Logan was accompanying and Sasha was accompanying. Right? They didn't actually wrestle
Well, Sasha and what's her name?
because I think Paige and
Sonya
Mandy,
Deville.
Sonya, that's
Yeah.
what I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Sarah
that's
Logan's
what
on.
it is.
Sarah Logan's on. See, this is already happening because they're doing the same thing. I'm getting them confused. and I
One
don't
of them
want
has
to.
a papaw and the other doesn't.
The other one eats game meat.
Oh, the best part of Raw was no, that was SmackDown. I take it
SmackDown,
back.
where they had the game meat
We'll
sign.
get to that later.
Yeah.
We had the Bray and Matt promo, which was fantastic.
Full tilt Gonzo. Just
Yeah.
completely off the deep end 2 weeks into it, and I'm fine with it.
That's how it needs to be. No,
No,
I'm pro that.
Thackrey's not feeling it.
I'm done with this already.
Wow.
That took you no time from.
They're
really
already fucking it
excited
up.
about this?
They're already doing it. Like they're letting Matt be Matt, but they're not going to do what they need to do with Bray, and it's going to fuck it up. So Bray's done. Like I'm done with Bray. Like I can't continue to do this with Bray. I really can't. Like I can't.
Is it breaking your heart?
Stop making
that a-
Bray laugh.
Was that a fucking pun?
Like
Was that wordplay?
It didn't mean to be, but it
God
came off as that.
Damn it.
like Bray just spouts
Good night.
nonsense. Like you need to
No.
fix him. Like
like
stop. Like make Bray. Like give Bray an idea about what his goal is, and he's just like like you can't have two just random fucking people like doing random things. Like the whole reason of Matt is like Matt's like this like.
He's
this,
a
like,
crazy person.
Yeah, he's a crazy person. So you can't have
You
crazy.
don't know if you should believe him, but you definitely
This-
expect to see him screaming on the corner of Times Square.
The same way
Right.
heel versus heel doesn't work. I don't think crazy versus crazy works. So you have to make Bray more grounded. You have to make Bray make Bray, and I've been saying this, make Bray think that he's the god that he is, but make Bray know that he isn't.
Right.
Make Bray be
Okay.
like, I am this, but know that he's not, and go against Matt and say, I'm going to disprove you. But he's just doing the crazy thing that he does where he just laughs a lot and says like random nonsense, and it doesn't make any sense at all.
I understand that complaint.
I'll book this later.
Go for it.
I've
man.
got an idea. I will book this later
All
and fix it.
right, so they followed that up with Finn
The
versus
knee.
Axel. Finn versus
Oh, yeah.
Axel was next.
Why?
Why? Because
Oh.
you gotta let Finn beat somebody, and it's not going to be anyone at the top right
Yup.
now. The only win against a top person that they've let Finn have since he's come back was against AJ Styles for no stakes at all.
I did like them pointing out that Axel does not need to wear the neck brace.
I
and
love
he's
that. That
just
was my
doing
favorite
it.
thing. It's good
And
comedy.
then he re-injured his neck at
Right,
the end of that.
right.
And they were like, "Oh, he's re-injured his neck," and I'm like, "Yes, of course he has."
Great.
Like, as much as I don't see the point of this,
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy it.
That's fair.
Is that it's like it's ice cream for breakfast to me.
Sure.
They're keeping Finn on TV, and I understand why they're keeping Finn on TV, but like, it's almost disrespectful to just like put him on TV and have him like have like a 5-minute match with somebody who doesn't matter.
It's just
I
it's
can't
just
have
think
Gallows
he
and
might be
Anderson.
enjoying it, to be honest with
it's
you.
just so funny because he is still getting the second or third biggest pop of the night every night.
Yup. Oh, we went on to Rollins and Sheamus. We're not going to talk about that because, as we mentioned, it was boring as shit. Rollins won.
Can I mention something
Oh,
about
sure.
it? Actually, not that it was boring as shit, but I'm really getting tired of. I really like Seth as a wrestler, but I'm getting really tired of his ridiculous psychology. Where, all right, yeah, beat my leg the whole time, injure my leg the whole time, and then I'm gonna win with the jumping knee. That it doesn't make any sense. Like Rollins is selling how badly his leg is hurt this entire match because Sheamus works that leg the entire match.
Yeah.
And then he wins with the fucking knee.
Yeah.
And Seth Rollins is a better wrestler than that. Like, you know better. What are you doing?
I don't know.
I don't
know
like
what the
him
fuck
slapping
they're
his
doing.
knee like he's about to do something right before his move. Like he slaps it the same way like Edge used to like sit in the corner of the ring and kind of like goad people on. Like everybody has like their thing. Like
Sure.
Randy will like slam the ring before he's about to RKO
Yeah,
somebody.
Randy goes ape shit now.
But like him slapping his knee like half-assedly before he does it just kind of bothers. I don't know. I just don't like the move.
That I
not
agree with
great.
that, especially because everybody does knees throughout the match.
Right.
It's kind
That
of
why
like,
is this one like more important? Why does this one have the impact that it does? Because like
it's just stealing another one of Triple H's moves, but it's one of Triple H's moves that never ends in a pin.
Yeah, it's a transitional. It's
What they did is they're taking all of Triple H's moves, but they're working backwards. They started with giving him the pedigree. They skipped the spine buster.
yeah, I was
and
gonna
they
say
went
just
to
give
the
him a
knee.
spine buster. Like
just look. He's pulled it out like 3 or 4 times in big matches.
the arrow, his 450 or whatever it's called, that splash that he does.
The Phoenix Splash.
Yeah, that's what it was.
That's fine. Give him the small package driver that he did it at SummerSlam this year. It's fantastic. It looks nasty. It's safe as fuck. Just not the knee.
For the sake of not having this conversation anymore, because
Sorry.
we've done this like
It's
every
awful.
episode.
I know.
I think.
I tweet it every time it happens though.
I know.
Like,
It's so fucking bad.
It's so ridiculous.
eventually I'm gonna run out of knee gifts.
We follow this up with the Cruiserweight Fatal 4-Way, which is basically a rematch of last week's Fatal 4-Way.
Do you,
Do we want to mention why it even happened?
Oh yeah, of course we do.
I don't know what happened with Rich Swann, but I guess
it's great.
Okay, so you guys have the actual thing. I just saw that it happened on Twitter,
Right.
and then I was just like, oh, I guess this is happening.
So
Two-time.
Rich Swann is
Two-time not being
suspended indefinitely from the WWE for a domestic battery charge. Over the weekend in Florida, he and his wife of 9 months, I believe, got into a spat.
You said 9, and I was like, years, and then you said months, and I was like, that's worse.
So they got into a spat. I guess she got out of the car, and he got her in a headlock to put her back into the car.
See, that's the problem. Don't do wrestling outside of wrestling.
Right. You just don't. It's a shame. Obviously, this is not me condoning it, but it's a shame because they both him and his wife, who's an independent wrestler, they have some troubled upbringings. Rich Swann was homeless for 2 years or whatever. He kind of had a chance to be an inspiration, and now there are two independent witnesses who confirm that he was, beating up on her, and it's a shame. But
He was working her neck over.
right, yeah, keep it kayfabe, guys.
Ugh, not really good. That match ended with giving the other incredibly talented black guy on the 205 roster.
R-Truth?
Yes. R-Truth has dropped weight.
What's up?
No, Cedric Alexander is going on to that match, which
Great match.
works great. And honestly, I would rather see him versus Gulak. I like Cedric.
I know you don't
Alexander,
like
and
Cedric,
I'm hoping
but
that they let him talk.
He
more
he
and
killed
build
it
the
in this
character.
match.
Oh, he works great. He
It's-
just doesn't have I don't think he has he's
Cardboard.
Yeah,
he's
kinda.
But who's the guy that come up from NXT that's part of Titus
Oh,
Worldwide who looked
Apollo
great?
Crews.
He's Apollo Crews or Bobby Lashley or anybody else who, and I'm not just naming black wrestlers, which I seem to
It
have
just kind of
done.
happens to be that.
But they just don't give him any character. Like Rich Swann, at least,
Yeah.
despite being face, had a little bit of he had a little bit of machismo,
Sure.
a little bit of charisma, so you could get behind him. But Cedric Alexander, he's just I'm fast and I jump and look at this finisher I have. It's really awesome, which it is awesome.
Yeah.
He did
Yeah, it's great.
what
He
was
does
it,
them so many times.
It was like an inverted Spanish fly or some shit like that into a lumbar check, and I was
Yeah.
like, "What in the shit just happened?"
Yeah,
here?
it was disgusting.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's nice to see that indie shit in a WWE ring sometimes.
Yeah.
So-
It just is.
He gets the pin over Ari Daivari.
Yep.
I thought that they were going to turn on Ari this time, but we'll get to that in a bit.
Right.
We followed that up with probably the best match of the week, I would say, because the next one was Cesaro versus Roman for the IC title.
It's pretty good. I can't knock
Cesaro is a hell of a worker, and sooner than later, probably Sheamus isn't going to be able to do this anymore, and we might be able to get to see Cesaro do the high mid card stuff because he deserves it.
Intercontinental belt. I can see that happening.
Not everybody's going to get the world
No.
title, but IC belt has a lot of prestige to it.
Sure. Absolutely.
it's disgusting
What?
what they're doing to Cesaro.
What
They've continued to do to Cesaro
Right.
for God knows how long. It's that Roman is just getting pushed to the world because Vince was on, I think, Stone Cold's podcast a year or two ago and literally told Stone Cold, I will never push Cesaro. I will never
He just
do it.
doesn't have what it takes.
And I was just like,
Why?
you're obviously not listening. Cesaro's great, and you saw him put on.
I think if we
what
know
would have been
anything from pro wrestling and the crowds of pro wrestling, it is that Vince is not listening.
I mean, and it's one of those things where
I don't know what he did. He did the neutralizer. He moved from the
I
neutralizer
never
and
see
Roman
him do the neutralizer
because he
Like,
never
I'm trying
gets
to-
gets
Yeah.
the pin. He
Yeah.
never gets to pin. But he was going into the neutralizer and then he turned the neutralizer into a crossface,
Yeah.
or something like that. And I was like, this is great. Let him
the
work.
the sort of the pop up European uppercut
Yeah.
on Roman just it looks nasty.
Cesaro is out there proving that technical wrestler is not a dirty word,
And
as long as you do it right.
and I get why they put him in a tag team because Cesaro has always been a phenomenal tag team guy. Always. You need look no further than Kings of Wrestling with him and Cassius Ohno for almost 10 years on the indie circuit.
Well, I mean, you have that issue of if you have two really good performers and you don't really know what to do with them, let's squash them together. Because it's not even the first time that they were together, because they were all part of the League of Nations.
Right? Yep.
It was them two, Alberto Del Rio and Rusev.
And handsome Rusev.
Handsome Rusev. And now they just kind of did that, and they don't even mention that they were part of the League of Nations. They just like, we're a new thing now that never existed.
I think
Tyson
they'd prefer
Kidd,
to forget
he was in
it.
a great tag team with Tyson Kidd for the longest time.
Yeah,
and that was
they
fucking
were-
great.
they were
didn't do
champs.
anything with it, and I was just like, God, like that was fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, Joe did break Tyson Kidd's neck. So there's that.
What happened after that? I think after that was Asuka Nora versus what ended up being nobody, I guess.
I thought this was poor booking.
It's fucking tedious.
What happened?
It doesn't. So it was supposed to be Asuka versus
Alicia Fox.
Alicia Fox,
Uh-huh.
but they don't even show Alicia Fox getting beat up in the back room. They just show her like holding her elbow and being like, "I'm fine, I can do this." With a referee being like, "No, you're hurt. Think about your injury." Like, it's really poor acting because nobody seems committed to it at all.
In all honesty, like I get that the gimmick was
Absolution
Absolution
just does this
beat her
thing where
up.
They beat up people.
but the way she was selling it, it was more to the effect of, I really don't want to fight Asuka this week, so my arm hurts.
Yeah.
It just
On top of the fact that she came out after Absolution, like went in on Asuka, and she was part of the locker room clear, and I was just like, weren't you just injured?
Absolution going in on Asuka was the worst part of this, because it just why should we've seen this amazing stuff from Asuka so far. She can literally hold off anybody. Why was she not able to hold him off this time? Like there's so
She held off like 2 or 3 of them at one point, and then like they all rushed in at the same time, and
Yeah.
it didn't work. I don't know. It was boring.
They
She
should
should have
have-
done the hulking up thing and just
Yeah,
like
well,
have her go Super Saiyan
They
in the
shouldn't
middle
have.
of the
They
ring.
should have
Right.
kept doing what I was saying is have him go
The
out and then
tease.
back off. Have him go off and
Yeah,
then back
right.
off, or like have something happen, because now like Absolution doesn't look great because they weren't able to hold off Asuka.
Nope.
And now you're questioning Asuka's strength as far as that goes. So now you definitely know that they're not in cahoots with each other. Now it's Absolution versus the rest of the rest of the locker room. And
Right.
just, you know, the question of does Absolution have Asuka in their pocket is it makes them the definitive like powerhouse, and now they don't have it, so it's just like what?
it gives
Yeah.
them a bit more legitimacy, because Paige has been out of the ring for a year, and Sonya and Mandy really only have NXT careers, so you don't have anything to sort of show for that.
Yeah.
So they do look strong with whose side is Asuka on?
We move on.
Brian's like, fuck it,
to-
I don't give a fuck.
No, I just am so not bought into Raw this week at all.
That's
I'd like
fair.
to just burn through it as quickly as we can. Dean Ambrose versus Samoa Joe. Pretty good match.
Yeah. Hey, good
Two
guys.
of them are great workers. They put on great matches.
Yep.
It ends exactly the way that you would expect it to, because Dean Ambrose, despite being a former world champion and the first Grand Slam champion of the Shield, can't beat Samoa Joe.
He's the fall guy right now. For
They weren't gonna let Shield sweep,
No.
so somebody was gonna take the pin, and
gotta
it
be
wasn't
Dean.
gonna be Seth.
Should have been Seth.
So yeah, Shield was not gonna sweep, so he wins, and it makes Joe look a little bit stronger, because now he's gotten clean wins over two of the 3.
Yeah.
So
We
It was fine.
had the highlight of the night. I thought we had.
Jason Jordan sitting backwards on a chair.
No, I wasn't paying attention. Or I didn't pay attention
Because
to
he's
that
a
shit
cool
at
dude.
all.
I'm telling you, it's going to be a running joke every week. Someone sitting backwards on a chair on Raw.
Yeah, somewhere in this week's Raw, we had Jason Jordan both apologizing to and yelling at Kurt
Angle, yeah.
for not letting him face Samoa Joe.
I'm mad at you.
At this point, I would just ground Jason Jordan back to SmackDown.
I think so. My favorite part of that is Kurt saying something along the lines of, "I get that you have put up a good match against a lot of good people or against a lot of talented people, but you've yet to win."
Right. Oh, God.
No, the highlight of the night was Dana Brooke got invited to be part of Titus Worldwide.
We called it.
She is their
statistician.
Yeah.
Statistician and head of research and development.
Right.
Yes. But truly the best part about that was the Good Brothers coming out and, calling out Marks as Marks.
So good. I want them to do so much more with them. They're
really,
so good.
I want this to build into a Titus Worldwide feud with the two of them.
With the club.
Because I think that would be a lot of fun. And, that one's something that you could tease backstage for a while and just have it be one of those things that every time the Titus Worldwide is trying to build up their status and try to do something new, you just have the club walk past and call them nerds.
They're just...
Until they start a fight.
I'm okay. As long as it gets the club on TV every week, I'm okay with them being the sort of Nelson going, ha ha.
They're the perfect
at
Nelson.
everybody. It's great.
I loved that so much. If they could just do that for a little while, I would be so happy. And with that, we have our final match of the night was Braun versus Kane.
That was a fuck finish.
Who gives a
I saw
shit?
one.
On to SmackDown.
How does he...
I want to stop for a moment,
That's
just
so
a
good.
quick moment, and ask: at what point do any of them care about the belt? At what point did this feud lead into one of them caring about the belt? Because it felt like it was just kind of like thrown, like they tossed it in to see if any of us would notice.
It's literally
It was
we need to have somebody at Royal Rumble, otherwise the show doesn't make any sense.
It was after Survivor Series when Vince McMahon backstage was like, I don't think Finn's over enough. Let's throw two big
And he
guys
was
against
like,
Brock.
You know who I do love? That Braun Strowman.
Yeah, but like Kane's
Braun
like,
Strowman
Kane
fellow.
came back
And also, how can we crush Kane's political aspirations?
because Kane came back and he heard through fire and hell brimstone or whatever because he can talk to rocks now.
Yeah.
And he was like, Braun's not the monster. And I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, like, you want to, like, assert your dominance as monster person. But now he's like, now I'm going to fight Brock Lesnar for the champion. I'm just like, at one point did we pivot from...
When did you earn that?
Yeah, when did we pivot
You've
from
won
this?
nothing so far.
And Braun's just
against anyone significant other than
He beat Finn Balor.
I'm already talking about this more than I want to.
No,
That's
yeah,
pretty sad.
I was just confused as to why this feud specifically pivoted into this, because there was no lead up or anything. They just kind of threw it in there, and it
Because
feels
you know what would
ham-fisted.
make a really great headliner to the second most important WWE card of the year? A Hoss fight.
The only reason I'm not mad about it
Three-person Hoss fight.
is that it means we don't get Kane, Braun, or Brock in the Rumble.
I don't care.
I'm okay with that.
SmackDown, we had some talking at the top.
Yep. When was the last time we had a SmackDown that didn't open with Shane McMahon?
I just don't care about any of this at all. I really enjoy Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. I just want them to get to the fucking plot of this so that I can stop thinking about it.
Good, because
Or-
Clash of Champions is Sunday.
It's in a week, so I am
Sunday.
excited about that because I think that there are going to be some really good matches, but I just don't give a shit about the storylines right now for the most part.
I mean,
Because
yeah, because they started with what,
'cause-
AJ Singh brothers is how they started the show.
Oh yeah, that is actually how it started, and I absolutely love that part
that's right.
because it was a lot of fun because we got Uncle AJ.
Good old Uncle Al. It's
Yeah.
I
great.
didn't like how they said Ginger's feet smelled like butter chicken.
that was-
and I was like, that's kind of
Tedious.
Racial.
a little bit.
little tad unsavory.
I like the Singh brothers. I thought that was really fun. I was hoping that they were just gonna turn to the good side for real this time
for a week.
but no, that didn't happen. We went on to Charlotte Flair versus Ruby Riott in a singles match. Really good match.
Yeah, they're both really talented women.
It's really interesting to see what SmackDown's doing right versus what Raw is doing wrong, because you're having SmackDown be like, we're going to have singles matches be singles matches and just build these people up as unstoppable by having them win matches.
Right.
Instead of gang up on people.
85% of that match took place during commercial.
Yeah.
Yep.
They showed it on TV, but there were commercials going on, and it got to the point where after the second commercial, I said, "How much longer are we doing this?" And I started fast forwarding, and I was like, "Oh,
Right.
All of it?
okay."
Yeah.
And then the moment it came off, Ruby got the pin.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was just like, "Okay, so that happened."
Yeah. Keep in mind, this is Ruby's second win over Charlotte, which I feel like is probably going to build toward a title feud.
Yep, definitely.
and-
Because Natalia's definitely not taking that title.
No, and Ruby is looking much stronger than Paige is in the very same situation.
I think so.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I don't like her talking as much. But
That's fair.
I think that Paige is better on the mic, but
Sure.
I think that that's just because Paige has like top roster time where she had
Experience,
the
yeah.
experience to develop
Absolutely.
that. NXT doesn't really give a shit about like developing
Right.
mic skills because there's just not enough time to fuck with it.
And promos on the indies just don't
who
matter as
cares?
much. Yeah.
We had Corbin versus Ziggler,
Yep.
which was a fun match because
I was okay with it. Yeah.
first off, Corbin's really coming into his own.
He's getting better.
Ziggler does a really good job of bringing up people who are like right on the edge.
Sure.
Up a little bit. You got Bobby Roode doing some real heel shit.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Bobby
because
Roode's-
I've never seen Bobby Roode heel other than like one match, and that was Nakamura versus him for the title.
Bobby Roode is a natural heel.
Yeah.
In the same way that Triple H is sort of a natural, like, old school style heel. That's what Bobby Roode is.
I liked him buddying up with on commentary.
Right.
Why am I blanking on his name? Top guy. Jesus.
Corey?
Yeah, with Corey
Yeah, him and
Graves.
Corey were really into it, and he was like
doing like really good heel commentary shit.
Corey kind of was the heel commentator for SmackDown.
He's
for the
so
most
good
part.
at it,
Like,
though.
He
He
is.
was kind of going at a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he does that, and he does that most of the time. He is.
Like, he's not being shitty about it, but he's
No.
definitely like kind of like he.
I don't like
Sure.
this person. This person's a joke.
He's
Yeah.
But like they're talented, but they're also I don't like them.
he's far and away the best main roster commentator, without question. And honestly, I would tie him with Morrow as the best sort of color man in the company right now.
But yeah, I can definitely see how they're moving Rude over to a heel, but they can't do it quite yet because
He's
Ziggler
the
and
face
Corbin
in
are
this
both
match.
heels.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that
He's probably gonna do some shitty shit during the match, or like get the title and move closer to, or part of me wants to give it to Ziggler and then have Ziggler and then
I want Ziggler
and
to hold the title. Just
I want
so that
Ziggler to
he,
hold the
like,
title so
doesn't
he
immediately feel
can
like he
hold
should
it to
leave.
Rude.
Fair.
But like I don't know.
I think we get heel Rude by the time Rumble hits.
I think so.
I think if they don't put the belt on Ziggler right now, I feel like the best thing they could do is put the belt on Ziggler, have Ziggler play this sort of tweener role where he's like, okay, maybe the fans aren't so bad.
He actually came out to his full entrance this time.
exactly, yeah.
I thought that was interesting because I was expecting him to cut it and then he didn't. I was
Right.
like, okay.
He's
This is
kind
interesting.
of turning back to people like me again.
Right.
Ziggler.
Right.
Because people are gonna like you if you're punching Baron Corbin in the face.
Yeah. People are going to be jealous of you if you're punching Baron Corbin in the face.
So yeah, I fully expect either.
At some point, Corey Graves screams, "Stop it, Saxton!" Because I tweeted that and I don't know why, but I loved it.
He does it all the time.
He's like,
Anytime
"Stop it,
that's-
Saxton!" And I was like, "Yeah, stop it, Saxton."
That's because
Saxton has the character of like the dorky, nerdy.
He was
Mark?
Michael Cole before Michael Cole.
he's Ralph Wiggum.
Kinda.
To make another Simpsons reference tonight.
We'll keep doing him. Yeah, he is definitely the Ralph Wiggum of the color commentary team. I love it. I love it so much. We got confirmation that the Fashion Files has moved to the network. I'm really excited, but I'm also really bummed out because they're going to feed them to the Bludgeon Brothers, and I would like to have a
Koopa
little
Troopas?
bit more build up to
Sure.
that, especially because I kind of love the Fashion Police.
Hey man, they're gonna get a match though.
They
Yeah.
are going to get a match.
getting a
I'm
match.
really happy to see them move over to the network because that means that we might actually see them on TV doing like the thing that they're paid to do.
Wrestle.
We had a second week of Bludgeon Brothers squash matches against no-name people.
That
Yep.
dude who yelled at the top of that like the Bludgeon Brothers are like, I'm not a fan of like their entrance, and I think if as long as I can continue
that
the
riff stuck
headcanon
in
that
my
they're
head.
not that they
They're
are
still part of the
that they
Wyatt
are
family.
that they are now the
No,
the
ever since you
SmackDown
mentioned that,
subsection
I'm
of,
now doing that
yeah,
too,
Right?
and it makes
it's
it
better if they're the SmackDown subsection of
Absolutely.
the Wyatts, and they're
I think
now
what they need to do, because people are doing the Fireflies for them. You can see it in the
Yeah.
crowd that people have their light or have the lights on,
Right.
And that's really really cool. People are sticking with what they love about them.
But that guy who yelled at the top of that Powerball, I think
God,
he
it was
smacked
so good.
Rowan, and then they did like some their power like double team tag moves are
They're so
they're
good.
brutal, nasty man.
You know what? You know what these matches are? These matches are like when you do create a character on a wrestling game, and then like you just do a couple matches or like a few matches where you put it on 2 players, but you actually only have one person there,
Right.
And you're just going through and seeing how to execute all of your moves,
Right. Absolutely. No, the Bludgeon Brothers continue to be fine in this sort of
I like
squash role.
It's fun.
It was interesting because they got called out on Twitter because the sort of the tandem powerbomb that they're doing at the to finish matches is the same double team finishing move that the Killer Elite Squad in New Japan Pro Wrestling uses. And so they got a call out this week, something to the effect of, hey, if this doesn't work out, we'll see you in World Tag League next year.
Yeah.
And I would be, Japan loves big hoss guys. So I would be
Because
perfectly.
they don't have any.
Yeah,
They have to
so-
import them in.
I'd be perfectly okay with that. But just a fun little tweet.
That was we had a bunch of tag team stuff happen.
Sure did.
Rusev and
Rusev Day.
and English Rusev Day versus the Usos.
I love this Christmas Carol
I
gimmick.
hope they take the fucking title.
So
I really hope
Yeah.
they
Rusev
take
Day?
the fucking
Fingers
title.
crossed.
Maybe.
I think it would be a good move, especially because maybe then you can just move Usos away a little bit. And I'm not saying keep them off for a while. I'm just saying like there's so much talent in the division. Let's like show some of it.
So we get this 4-way promo, and I think Gable and Shelty B. They
The
have
training day
they
part
have
of
a
it
good
where
little-
he said
quip.
King Kong ain't got nothing on, and I was just like, and that's training day, and I was like, that is training day. Yes, thank you.
real
I
good.
understand this.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought they finally got a chance to sort of show their character on the mic, and I think obviously it was only like 13 seconds, but I think it looked good.
I retweeted one last week where they sort of did like a WWE thing, like a network thing, or like a promo thing where all that Gable said was, "How are they in the match?" was Rusev Day, and he's like, "How are they in the match?" And Gable and Shelton's talking like, "Yeah, man, I don't know, man. Like, we got to do this thing. Like, it sucks that they're how do they do this?" And then Gable's like, "How are they in the match?" And then he's talking again. He's just like, "How are they in the match?"
Right.
And I'm just like, do stuff like that with them, where like Shelton kind of is the straight
He's a
guy,
straight
and,
man.
and have Gable just do absolutely off the wall bonkers crap.
That is exactly what they did with American Alpha and NXT, and it got them fucking over.
Right.
People.
And it even
It's
calls
crazy.
back to it's funny how much of a mirror American Alpha is to Team Angle from back in the day.
Absolutely.
Because Shelton Benjamin was the straight man in that also. Charlie Haas was this
Yep.
kind of like
Out
great
there.
performer, but kind of fucking weird dude.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's crazy to think they got this so over in NXT. The crowd popped for Jason Jordan. He got the hot tag, and the crowd went fucking ape shit. And it happened when they came up to SmackDown at first.
Yeah.
You can easily recreate this with a wrestler like Shelton Benjamin,
is,
who's more
Do
talented.
we want to talk about New Day antics? Because they were in there.
This
No?
is week 3
Okay.
of Pancakes. Just
Okay.
calling it out. Week 3 of Pancakes. Big E has no shirt on.
This time he had a skillet? Did they have or like a cast iron pan?
He had a
What was
pan
it?
full of it, and he had
So you had
fucking
Big
dumb.
E showing off the guns. First off, Big E is jacked as fuck. If you think that he is a fat guy, you are wrong.
They don't call him Big E for nothing.
That guy is like. It's like if Tree Stump had abs. That's what Big E looks like.
That's fair.
They had him as the pancake maker, and then we had Kevin
wish that were his
Owens
real
versus Nakamura, and that was more interesting than.
Yeah.
It was a pretty good match.
Sure.
Nakamura goes over clean.
No. I think Kevin
Wait.
Owens won.
I don't think Kevin Owens won.
I honestly love both of these guys, and the match was fine, but I legitimately cannot remember who
Shit,
won.
I watched it like just a few hours ago, and it's blanking on me.
Exactly.
I'd be willing to bet KO won.
I don't know.
Oh, we didn't talk about the Yep movement.
Oh yeah, let's get
That
to
was
that.
great.
So they are building on.
Yeah, because the Daniel Bryan's going to be the special
Yeah,
guest
so
ref. They're
Kevin-
gonna
Oh
have
yeah,
two
Kevin Owens
refs.
does one because he wins clean because,
because
Daniel Bryan counts.
Daniel Bryan stripped that ref so fast.
They're doing that sort
I
of
was like,
heel
how did he get a
tease.
shirt?
Yeah. Like, he stripped a shirt faster than I've ever stripped a shirt off of me or anybody else.
Right.
So
Ever.
in all of my apathy
impressive.
for this week's pro wrestling, I completely forgot about
The
Kevin
movement.
Owens, Sami Zayn working with Daniel Bryan
Occupy
on promo
SmackDown.
stuff.
The Yep movement was one of the best things of the week, I think.
I love that they're just straight up doing Occupy Raw, but
Right.
self-serving.
Yeah, and no one came out.
No,
Just-
not a single person.
Just Daniel Bryan, like,
It's-
what are you doing?
Yeah, it's doing like a backwards mirror of Daniel Bryan is what they're going for, and they're
Right.
executing it incredibly well.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's well written.
Yes, it's funny. It's really incredible how great they're doing at having SmackDown be the funnier, better written show.
Right.
Does that sound right?
Yeah, I'd say that's fair.
Not necessarily better performers all the time, but it is more entertaining. It's more of a show than it is a spectacle.
That's fair. That's fair.
Anyway, 205 Live, I think there were only like 2 or 3 matches.
There's really only one important thing that happens this week.
Well, I do want to say this because we had Cedric Alexander versus Ari Daivari.
Yeah.
We had Alexander goes over. We have Jack Gallagher versus Kalisto. They kind of mention why they're having that feud.
Right.
The whole point of that feud is that Gallagher and the Brian Kendrick didn't get an opportunity when Kalisto basically got handed the belt.
Right.
Which I liked that because it kind of made that whole arc make more sense.
In headcanon, I've just started assuming that now that Jack Gallagher is heel, he's playing up this Brexit thing, and given that Kalisto is of a different color, he is now morally opposed to him. So he
And Grand Metalik.
he hits Kalisto with the Brexit stage left, and Gallagher over.
I do want to give a little bit of kudos to 205 Live because, or on top of the fact that they're incredibly talented
Yeah.
all across the division,
Yep.
they are, I think, the most diverse division in the league. I think they're the most diverse show.
Sure.
You have Mustafa Ali and Ari Daivari. You have Cedric Alexander, and at the time, Rich Swann. All of them as top guys.
No, not to mention Kalisto
Yeah, you have Kalisto. You have Grand Metalik.
and Lindsay Dorado, although I can't remember the last time he actually wrestled.
I wasn't going to mention it because I don't know who that is.
Sure.
But the interesting
really
thing to
great.
me is
TJP, if he's ever going to come back.
Well, TJP's Filipino?
Yeah, he's
from.
mixed. Yeah.
But what's interesting to me is you have Ari Daivari and Mustafa Ali. Neither one of them are caricatures.
No.
It's
not at
really
all.
interesting to me that like they have control over what their character is, and neither one of them are what you would normally expect WWE to do with people named Mustafa Ali or Ari Daivari.
The closest you get with that is Daivari's entrance music, and that's it.
Right. But even like they don't do the pretend thing of
Right.
like this is where that person's from.
He's from Wisconsin via like
Via
something of Tyrant.
Terrain.
Yeah.
via
Which is
Tehran.
I like that they
accurate.
announce him that way. Yeah.
Because the reality is that Jinder Mahal's not from India. He's from Canada.
Yeah. He's from like New Brunswick.
Yeah. If they were to introduce Jinder Mahal as from wherever in Canada he's from
Yeah.
via India,
It would be much better.
By way of India.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I would like it a lot more.
Sure.
Also, if they were, because I don't really care that much about the music because, quite frankly, the music's good. And it's
Yeah.
nice to have something
Yeah.
that's not the standard, like,
Post grunge.
post-grunge or hip-hop-esque
Sure.
song. I mean, I really, really like Jinder Mahal's entrance theme.
It's you know what honestly
catchy as
the
fuck.
only thing I don't like it's catchy. The only thing I don't like about it is like in my head it's just the Great Khali's theme.
It's close.
Yeah,
I like
because
that
they're
there's
really
actually-
similar.
I like the lyric, or I like that there's actually like people singing over it.
Sure. Yeah.
So anyway, we had the almost near destruction of
The Zo Train.
Train for 2 reasons.
Uh-huh.
First off, blanking on names.
Tony
today.
Nese.
Not Tony Nese.
Drew Gulak?
No, the Scottish one.
Oh, Noam Dar.
Noam Dar's out with a knee injury.
Right.
But you had Tony Nese face Enzo in a match to teach him some things.
Kind of humble. It's just crazy to think that Enzo Amore is humbling Tony Nese in a match. Ugh. But
it works. Like as
the
much
story
as I
works.
Scoff at it. It
right.
Works.
No, it was really great character work because
yes.
Tony does not want to have this match because even though Tony is a heel, he's like, no, like, he's very much the sympathetic one here.
Right.
And so, they start the match and Enzo goes in on him and then Daivari just jumps the ring and goes right in on Tony too.
Right. You get Ari as like bought in completely.
Right. And Gulak is on the outside sort of.
This all kind of comes of like throughout or in the match in Raw and then in 205 you have Gulak as like half jokingly talking about how he's going to win the Cruiserweight Championship.
Right. And Tony's defending that he could actually do it.
Right.
Because Tony's his friend.
Yeah. They're
Team
buddies.
PowerPoint. And so the way this segment ends is Drew is conflicted about whether he wants to join in, and Enzo clearly wants him to join in, and Drew sells it really well, and
Drew
then finally
has like a
just
really good scowl,
goes
and like
vicious.
A really good angry face.
Yeah, it's great. It's really great, and it made this angle more interesting than it already was because I think it's been one of the best booked angles so far. Mm-hmm. On the main roster.
It's definitely the best thing that they've done to Enzo since he dropped down to 205.
I'd say it's the
it
best
might
thing
even be the
they've
best
done
thing
to
they've done with Enzo
on the main roster.
Yeah, I'd probably give you that.
It's good. It's real good.
I look back and in the when Finn dropped the belt, Big Cass was in that Fatal 4-Way match for some reason.
Sure was.
Because
weird. Vince loves big jacked dudes.
He's not that jacked.
Yeah, but he's 7 feet tall.
He is 7 feet tall.
You can't teach that, Bryan. Jesus Christ.
That's true. I've never been able to teach somebody to be 7 feet tall. I have attempted to teach people to walk on stilts.
Does it work?
I don't know how to walk on stilts.
Oh, well.
I'm really enjoying this this Nia Jax Enzo thing. It's really fun for me.
It's the weirdest thing.
I like it. I think it's dumb.
Got some booking for this.
All right, we'll get to that in just a moment. First, we'll hit up NXT.
Great this week.
NXT was on
real fast. More matches than I'm used to with NXT, and they all were kind of short.
Yeah.
Which they were trying to show off their chops on USA, trying to get people up, which is why all of the champions were involved in some way or another.
Right.
So
I don't have the order to these, to be honest with you.
I got it.
Andrade
Cien Almas. God, his name is so hard for me.
Andrade?
Yeah.
Cien Almas.
Can we not forget Zelina Vega though? I feel like that's necessary.
Yeah, he fought somebody.
Fabian
Eichner. I want to say Billy Eichner.
That would be a way different match.
I never knew that I wanted this, but I want nothing but this. I just finished Difficult People, and it is so good on Hulu.
Almas versus Fabian Eichner, who was in the Cruiserweight Classic last year. He's beefed up a little bit.
He is massive, and he can still move.
Yeah,
I imagine that's what Cedric Alexander would look if they took him out of cruiserweights.
How he used to
look.
He
was still big because he jumped on top of the top rope, and then
flew
and then catapulted himself into Almas, and I was like, whoa. This guy's got wings.
Sure does.
Yeah,
part bird or something. I don't know.
Almas is doing really good work.
He's really coming into his own.
I am openly not pro Almas.
Sure.
He's doing a lot better since he's got the title. They're kind of letting him do stuff.
I think he has the same problem that Alberto Del Rio did in that he wrestled in a mask for so long that was him. That was the gimmick. And now he has to be expressive and interesting without that mask.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big leap for someone who's wrestled in a mask for 10 years.
I like that now that he has the title, Zelina Vega is not talking as much.
That's fair.
it's one of those things of like she existed as a manager to get him the title.
Right.
So now that he has the title,
He can be naturally
she just
over.
needs to do what she needs to do
Sure.
to keep him from losing that title.
Fair.
Which I like that. I like that kind of thing of like, all right, the manager has done their job.
Right.
Now they can kind of coast.
Yeah, it's a good dynamic.
I like that.
After that,
Authors of Pain.
AOP versus Oni Lorcan and blanking on his name. He's British.
Some other dude.
Fuck, he's real good, and I can't think of his fucking name.
I don't think that we expected this match.
British Oni Lorcan.
because
Danny Burch.
there you go.
That what it was. Yep.
Yeah, didn't expect this match at all.
Because we all kind of expected Authors of Pain to be moving
Called
on up.
Yep.
I'm wondering if they're just doing this for the sake of
NXT on USA just to get
what I'm thinking.
their
But they-
their most notable tag team on TV, so people would tune in or see it and say, "Oh wow, these guys are cool. Let's do some more of this."
Right, and
or if maybe they'll give them one last title run before moving them over,
No.
just to kind of keep viewers.
I think it was a sort of, hey, this is sort of a preview of who you're going to see soon, because they did almost 1 million viewers this week, which is it's better than they expected.
Yeah.
So
They did the ladies match, I think was next.
yes,
Ember versus Peyton.
I really thought that
Featuring
this was
Billy
a good
Kay.
match.
it's great.
I am bought into Peyton Royce
Yeah,
completely.
I think she still needs some work.
I feel like she has improved.
Oh, she's
from where she
improving.
was like 3 months ago.
She's improving for
Yeah.
sure, but I mean, there's still some parts where like
The-
she'll kick, and it's because she's longer
Right,
than most
yes.
people. So like
Her kicks are very slow.
Yeah, her moves look a little bit more telegraphed, which it's something that I think she needs to figure
I think
out.
that she had the issue because she's so much taller than
Yeah.
Ember Moon
She's
is.
half leg.
yeah.
That 619 looked really good though on Ember's back.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
Real good.
And she has that submission that she does where she like kind of like locks him up in the ropes,
Right.
Which is really cool. And I like when she gets her near falls, she kind of like just absolutely loses it, and I'm just like, this is fun.
She
Yeah.
does good heel work.
Yeah,
She really
no.
does. She really does. I feel like I'm really glad that her and Billy didn't get called up in this sort of mass female
yeah.
exodus, because I think they'll be good at that sort of top roster spot of they're the heels that don't win but they think they're really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's good.
I think they work very well in that role.
Was the next match the final match of the night?
Sure was.
Okay.
We got some promos we didn't talk about.
Well,
but-
Nikki Cross came
I
in and
didn't-
actually cleared out. So
Oh,
like,
yeah,
I
that's
want to
right.
get into it. Like Billy, Peyton, Ember won clean via that crazy stunner that she has, and then Billy came in and ended up hurting or attacking Ember, and they kind of did their thing. And then Nikki Cross like was released from the cage that Sanity keeps her in, and like saw the shininess of the belt and went absolutely batshit and ran around and then ran back out.
It is insane how much work they have to put in to make Nikki Cross look unattractive.
Yeah.
I
I
works.
noticed that.
Yeah, like they're very clearly going, okay, no, we can't. You can't be attractive.
I need you to wet your hair more.
Just look like a feral dog child.
Yeah, because like in my she looked like a hamster that you let out and was just like really fried because she like her saw chips hadn't been like changed and like Sanity hadn't changed her like water bottle, so she
Right.
like got out of the cage and was like freaking out and like saw this like shiny stuff and she was like, I don't know what to do, and then just like left.
Yeah,
That was the way I interpreted that whole thing.
I'm
Yeah.
amazed that they
like a-
didn't have her do the same thing.
Gerbil. I don't know.
I'm amazed that they didn't have her do the same thing that Almost does with a title and just like hold it between her
chew
teeth.
it. Yeah, that's fair. I'd be okay with that, honestly.
But I guess you can't have both titles get treated that way.
Right. Well, no, then it would be all three because Pete Dunne does the same
does it
fucking
too, where
thing.
He
Oh,
bites
does
it
it?
and puts his
Okay,
his
all
hand
right.
up.
So just title holder chewing from now on.
Everybody
Nikki wins
does
the
it.
belt, and that's how it goes.
But like she doesn't like hold it between her teeth. She's clearly like holding it with her hands but gnawing on it.
Right. She's literally eating it. Like
Like,
you notice little chips
yeah,
in the
every
belt
so
every
often
week,
there's,
and you're
like,
like, did
the leather's wearing away. And
he do that?
Like my dog Kevin, we get him these like leather toys and they're just like rawhide.
Right.
And what he'll do is like we get him like a little bunny. It's a small bunny, like maybe 6 inches by 6 inches.
Right.
And what he'll do is he'll like rip it apart so that all the stuffing comes out. He does it like a coyote. He eats an asshole first.
Right.
And then he just chews on the leather until it's nothing.
So
That's kind of what I picture Nikki Cross doing. Specifically the eating an asshole first.
for the record, please do not Google leather bunny if you're at work or anything while you listen to this.
I seriously do think Sanity keeps her in a cage because even during the promos, they kind of look at her like, "Who the fuck are you and why are you out?"
Right, like
Everybody else is like fairly well spoken. Killian Dane is well spoken despite being a man or a
man
bear in a
bear,
or in a man costume.
we all saw War Games, and somehow we all think Nikki Cross is the least sane member of
she's the
Sanity.
craziest person there, which is good.
Yeah,
I think it works.
Yeah,
It somehow works.
yeah, it's great. It's fantastic.
Oh, it's time. It's time, guys.
Yes,
So we had the match that I was genuinely like stressed out going into.
it was so good.
Aleister Black versus Adam Cole.
Baby.
Thank you. I thought it was fine. I may have been a little bit spoiled by last week's match with Gargano and I want to say Chris Hero, but I actually mean Cassius Ohno.
Same person.
So I was disappointed in it because that match was so amazing.
Sure.
But I also understand that this match they didn't have that kind of time because they put in more stuff.
Correct.
Right.
So
And also, last week you had more of the opportunity for it to be a competitive match, whereas this week you really needed to protect both
Aleister.
guys.
Yeah. Well, I think you need to protect Aleister more than you need to protect Cole, but you still need to kind of make Cole not look like he's just getting ramrodded by Aleister.
Yeah, you can't have Cole lose sort of clean.
well, the
Like-
things about people who are like have the loud, obnoxious personality like Adam Cole does is when you put them on network television is people get it right away.
Oh, yeah.
You don't need a build up.
Oh, not at all.
But when it comes to what you're usually used to when it comes to pro wrestling with like a lot of holds and a lot of grappling, Aleister Black doesn't do that. He doesn't have the big flashy moves.
Right.
His whole persona
striker.
is that he is a calm, collected, solemn striker.
Right.
And when he is winning and the other person is down,
Mm-hmm.
he just literally sits and waits.
Right.
So that's not something that comes across on TV quite as well.
It's a fantastic dynamic between the two of them, though.
I thought that the dynamic or the story that's being told in this match is fantastic
Right.
because you have the loudmouth who isn't as good as he thinks he is versus the quiet person who thinks that the other person needs to shut the fuck up.
That's fair. Well, and it works because realistically, you have a heel champ, so there's no reason for Adam Cole to win this.
Correct.
But Adam Cole still needs to look good right now because they're sort of building him up
They're
to
kind of
that top spot.
it's kind of like all faces going into this match so far.
Right. Absolutely.
I mean, Killian Dane's kind of a tweener, but
right.
I think that I think that Sanity is meant to be heels, but that was never going to happen.
Right. So yeah, we know that a face has to come out of this because you're not going to get a heel versus Almas before the Royal Rumble. It doesn't make sense.
No.
And so, it was sort of obvious that Aleister Black had to win this. But if you want to make Adam Cole look good, you do what you did tonight, which is Adam Cole lost because Adam Cole was fucking full of himself.
Right.
Because
I mean, Adam Cole was so full of himself that he told Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish to go to the back.
Right.
He's like, I don't need you here. I got this.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's
And both
exactly
of them kind of
what
like
he
looked
did.
at him like, all right, I mean, you're
Are
Adam
you
Cole.
sure?
Go for it.
No
do you,
one's
man.
beat him yet. Are you sure that you can do this? Because so far, all of your wins have come from us.
Do you want Kyle O'Reilly out there with you at least? Because he's like our Nikki Cross. Like,
Yeah,
come on.
He's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
He's just sitting there chewing on his mustache.
Just chewing,
Yeah, it was interesting.
I do think we're going to get interference during Roddy Lars. I think Cole or I think Cole's going to interfere during that. I don't know because I think I think the thing to do is put Roddy and Cole together and
They
have
work
them
so
feud.
well together.
So I think that's what's going to happen. I think Lars is going to. I mean, Lars can win clean against Roddy no matter what. But I think to
Right.
protect Roderick, to protect Roderick as like your one of your top faces, have Cole come in and be like, if I can't win, you can't win. You're not going to get this belt either. Fuck you.
The
Lars
program
looks good going over him, and Roddy doesn't get hurt by Undisputed Era interference.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you don't need, or the program that makes sense coming out of War Games is Roddy against Cole.
Absolutely.
Because that was, at the end of the day,
That's-
the story of that match.
And that's a money match right there. Like that's you've got Roddy Strong, who's maybe not great on the mic, but Jesus Christ, I could watch him break people's backs all day.
Oh, I'd pay money to see him beat the fuck out of Adam Cole.
And you've got Adam Cole, who is just
No.
Brian. I truly cannot wait for you to get to see a really great Adam Cole promo, and just be so sold on this smarmy fucking asshole
No, I
that
get
is
that he's
Adam
a
Cole.
smarmy
He's
asshole.
so good.
I just can't root for smarmy assholes anymore.
That's
I'm just
fair.
there's too many of them, and I just can't do it anymore.
I have a type.
But he's the best.
You do have a type,
I have a type.
sweetheart.
I'm a Bobby Roode mark for the exact same reason.
I know. I just can't do it anymore. There's too many of them, and I just cannot root for all of them. So I'm sorry Adam Cole came in later than all the rest. I'm rooting for Roddy on this. But, yeah.
So before
Straighten my shirt.
Before we transition into the glory that is our fantasy booking, can I hit us with the New Japan report really quick? 'Cause
Yeah,
some
please.
very important stuff
New
happened this
Japan,
week.
baby.
Yes.
Yeah, we had some great stuff happening.
World Tag League ended last Sunday, and the big two big stories coming out of it. One, of course, we have a title match for Wrestle Kingdom in 3 weeks, which is huge, which is Evil and Sonata versus Killer Elite Squad for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship tag belts.
I don't know who either of those people are.
You will.
Okay.
But probably the most important thing for American fans or people unfamiliar with New Japan Pro Wrestling,
The reason why I'm paying attention.
Chris Jericho showed up for the first time in a New Japan ring since 1997.
Yeah, it's been a while.
following-
It was pre-WCW.
Yes. Since 1997. Jericho shows up after a Kenny Omega Young Bucks 6-man tag. Congratulating on there's a video that plays on the screen of him congratulating Kenny for the victory. You know, the lights are out while they're showing the video. When the lights come back on, Chris Jericho is standing in the ring behind Kenny Omega, and he brutalizes Kenny Omega.
He has what almost is a code breaker, but if a code breaker was done really poorly.
It looks vicious.
Yeah,
like
because it looks like he just pulled somebody down onto it or with
On
his
his-
knees on their face.
right.
So, like, if a code breaker was a thing that you did in a real fight,
Right. It's the nastiest looking code breaker I've seen probably ever. He hits Kenny Omega with Kenny Omega's U.S. heavyweight belt, which literally busts Kenny open the hard way. Jericho actually smears Kenny's blood on his face. We get a very vicious Chris Jericho that I have not seen before. It is fantastic.
I don't think that we've ever seen this side of Chris Jericho.
No way.
It's
Sell them
really
tickets.
The
don't
Tokyo
sell
Dome
them
is
tickets.
almost sold out. They haven't even announced the full card for the show, and it is almost sold out. It is a big deal. The very next night, we get the Tokyo Dome press conference for Wrestle Kingdom, because it is in 3 weeks, ladies and gentlemen. And Kenny Omega they actually separate rooms for Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho. Kenny Omega gives his interview saying, you know, this is not about 5-star matches. This is about a fight. This is about I'm taking down Chris Jericho. And they cut to Chris Jericho in another room who says, you know, this is not about 5-star matches. This is me ending the career of Kenny Omega and having the best match I have ever had in Japan.
Yeah, I think he said something along the lines of like, I'm going to retire the cleaner.
Yes. And then from fucking left field, Kenny Omega dives onto the screen attacking Chris Jericho. They fight, are pulled apart, and then Chris Jericho picks up the interview table and throws it at Kenny Omega in the middle of this press conference. It is fantastic. If you have not seen it, it will get you so hyped for Wrestle Kingdom if you were not. It's amazing to the point that New Japan now is basically having to promote it as a co-main event. Much to Tetsuya Naito's chagrin.
So I found this out. Mark Cuban actually does a lot of stuff with New Japan. I guess he
Yes.
owns there's a channel that plays their stuff,
Correct.
and he owns that channel, and he's talking about how, like, they're the future. That if you're not paying attention, that or I guess he wants to put more of their stuff on air.
Mark Cuban
Right.
is a great businessman.
Yeah.
Agreed.
He's a great business mind. I think he's a shitty owner for the Mavericks, and
Sure.
as a basketball fan, I think
But
he's
he's
kind
a
of a
smart
shithead
guy.
But he's a very smart business guy. So I think you should pay attention to him. Anything
Yes.
he says you should perk your ears up to.
Cuban owns Access TV, AXS.
Yes.
Which typically shows New Japan stuff on about a 2 to 3 month delay. They are actually airing the top 3 matches from Wrestle Kingdom 2 nights later. Now, they're doing it with a different English commentary team than New Japan's regular team. I believe it will be Jim Ross and some guy who's kind of a putz, and I can't remember his fucking name.
I don't know if I like that. Jim Ross is probably not great for that kind of a style of wrestling. And he's kind of a...
He's not... It's fine, but it's not what you want. Honestly, if you're watching New Japan with English commentary, you should really watch the New Japan World feed with Kevin Kelly and Don Callis.
What they do with JR, because he's been talking about it on his podcast, is he gets it after the fact.
Yes. So he knows what's happened.
Well, no,
then calls the
he
match.
says, or from what he says, he does not watch it beforehand. He
Okay.
only watches it live whenever he's doing it. 'Cause
Sure.
He wants to keep the kind of spontaneity to it.
Sure.
But some people watch it beforehand and then kind of go in with some written material.
Right.
So I mean, it's fine, but it's also losing that kind of spontaneous in the actual moment feel.
Sure.
Of being in the same room.
As God is my witness, that man is broken in half.
It's definitely weird to sort of see it on Access TV, but it's really interesting that they're airing part of Wrestle Kingdom 2 days after rather than 3 months after. And this is the sort of thing that, this Jericho story, this sort of Jericho get that they've gotten is really huge for them. New Japan World numbers have already gone up.
This has real potential to change New Japan in a positive way.
Yes.
In America, anyway. I don't think that it's going to change a whole lot in Japan. I think they're
Vince
already
will,
bought into
I
it.
think Vince will rue this day that he let
Jericho go?
Jericho go.
For a company,
Jericho's going to come back, obviously,
Sure.
but like he's allowing his biggest competitor, maybe whether he knows it or not, to get ahead of steam on what the WWE is doing. And people will flock to New Japan regardless of whether or not there's commentary, because it's stiffer, it's bloodier, and it's closer to what people think of as wrestling. And a lot of the issue that is the WWE is the fact that it's toned down, it's PG,
right?
And there are issues with it. So
I think that with the way that things are going,
and
I don't think we're that far away from having English commentators.
Well, I mean, with New Japan World, if you're watching on New Japan World, all the big shows have English commentary, and then I think they did 18 extra shows this year that had English commentary. I think next year I know they're upping that number, but I think it's going up to almost 36 with every single night of the G1 tournament, which is outside of Wrestle Kingdom, their big fucking thing in the year. Almost, I believe next year every single night is going to have English commentary, and that's huge. Just as an example, this year the G1 27, I believe it was the 27th tournament. Meltzer gave 4-star matches to almost 50 of the matches. It's a big deal, and every single one of those matches was great. They're looking to expand to the States this year, and Jericho being on Wrestle Kingdom is a big fucking boost.
Yeah.
All right. Let's have some fun, you guys. Boom. Thackrey, what do you got for us this week?
Okay, so it involves Nia and Enzo and Cass and Carmella. So it's kind of something that you could see coming, but obviously you build build this Enzo Nia thing to where like Nia really like thinks he's endearing, like really likes him, and like Enzo is obviously putting on a different face for Nia, and eventually like have them be sort of like this thing, and like have him have the belt. Then eventually he's gonna drop that belt. We know this, so like in my plan, you have him drop the belt
probably sooner than later.
Yeah,
Yes.
and then have him start treating Nia like shit. Like have him start really coming down on Nia, but have Nia defend him, and like have Gulak and what I assumed was going to be the Gulak Tony Nese split from them. We don't know what's going to happen there, but I still assume that Tony Nese and Gulak are going to be Team PowerPoint and go face eventually. Sure. So have them be like, oh yeah, and like he's being shitty, and she's going to eventually be like, no, he's fine, and like Enzo's still part of the Zod train with Ari Daivari and Noam Dar, and really have Nia eventually fighting Enzo's battles for him.
Like literally fighting his
yes,
battles
literally
for him?
fighting battles for him.
Like,
have him.
Okay, so like when China came out as Triple H's bodyguard.
Yeah, like literally do stuff like that to where
Sure.
Nia's defending Enzo and Enzo's acting shitty, and then but Nia's still sticking up for him, still going in, and then at this point on the main roster, Carmella's already cashed in her Money in the Bank. That's already ran its course. Big Cass is coming back. Stick Big Cass and Carmella back together, and then have Enzo, who no longer has the belt at this point. It's on Gulak or whoever. You know, he's sort of out of the title feud. They're running this sort of this program with Nia and Enzo, and then put them together, put them on a crash course at WrestleMania to fight, where it's Carmella and Cass being like, hey, like we're the
the real power couple.
We're the real power couple. Like we're the thing. Like we treat each other fine. And Nia's like, yeah, no, he's fine. Like he loves me. He's great. And
Right.
Enzo's being shitty towards her continuously, and she sees the great in him. And then have them collide at WrestleMania and have it really be the real finish that we should have got to Cass and Enzo.
I really like that. I really like that idea.
That's my like serious booking of the because I was really thinking about what we could do with Nia and Enzo and not have it be shitty, but like kind of build on the anti-body positivity thing that's been happening to Nia, but like by the end of it, like there's gonna be some weeks where it's gonna be really shitty because Enzo's gonna be really shitty to her.
Yeah,
because Enzo is really shitty.
Yeah, like have Enzo really like get some heat.
I honestly don't think that you need to do like the body shaming kind of stuff. I think that you can naturally just have Enzo
have him be kind
a
of
piece of shit.
Yeah, no, I mean you can do that, but
Because I mean it really doesn't have to be like. You really don't have to do the body shaming just for Enzo to be a piece of shit in a relationship. You can just have Enzo be a piece of shit in a relationship, and that would be fine.
But
if you do want to avoid that kind of thing, which personally, probably for the best.
Probably
if you don't.
But yeah, I mean you have just a really great parallel here between Nia fighting all of Enzo's battles, and then Nia being the large intimidating figure, and then you have Cass back. It gets Cass
Right.
over as a face. Or more over as a face as you could, because he'd be the anti Enzo. Cass is the big guy. Cass and Nia can fight. You have Carmella. Carmella gives a suplex or two to Enzo because they're about the same size. And
Sure.
you get a really fun mixed intergender match, which may start off WrestleMania or be one of the pre-show matches. It'd be really fun, and I think it would be pretty cool to
I'm into
kind
that.
of build to that.
I'm really
I
into
actually
that.
really like that as well.
It's real solid.
Nikki, what you got, man?
All right, so okay, let's fix this Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy angle
Not
for
possible.
Thackrey. So next week,
They're not going to take Bray seriously.
next.
They're never going to make Bray.
That's why this is fantasy booking. So next week we get Matt Hardy on the screen. He's talking, and then he stops and he kind of looks over, waiting for Bray to respond. Nothing. No response. We get nothing from Bray at all next week. Matt, we come back to Matt. He talks, cut back, nothing with Bray. All right. So the next week we come back. Matt talks. This time we see the rocking chair. Not on the screen, but just in the ring, lit up. Bray's still not there. Matt does his promo. It's whatever. Third week, Matt starts talking. Bray, we cut to where Bray should be. There's nothing on the screen. In the ring, Bray is standing there. And he's got Jeff. And Bray is just beating Jeff down. Bray, Jeff is not cleared to compete right now, so Jeff is just beaten down. Matt's crazy. Matt doesn't really know what to do with that. It's fine.
What do you do?
We cut away, we cut back. The next week, we put Bray in a match. He beats the shit out of, I don't know, Elias, Apollo Crews. Doesn't matter. Somebody. Matt comes on. Matt doesn't understand why Bray doesn't want to play anymore. Bray just cuts a mean, nasty promo. I don't have time for this. I'm not concerned with this anymore. I have a bigger plan. I have things to do. Fine. The next week, I guess we're like 2 weeks out of the Rumble now. Bray comes out, squashes a jobber again. Matt comes on. No, we're in We're at war. We
Delete-
have to do this. I have to delete you. Bray doesn't care. Bray has a higher purpose than this. I don't have time to play games.
When he's busy playing God.
Exactly. Matt finally comes out on stage as Broken Matt. And you know what? Maybe Jeff comes out with him. Not as Brother Nero, but just as Jeff, just kind of as the middleman. Bray doesn't attack them. Bray's not concerned. But out comes the Ascension. At this point, the Ascension have lost to the Bludgeon Brothers.
Yeah, that's probably going to happen sooner than later.
On
Right.
SmackDown.
Right.
Okay.
Out come the Ascension as the new disciples of Bray on Raw. They've been converted. They got knocked over the head with the hammer, which is probably what happened to the Bludgeon Brothers. And now
Vicious foam hammer attack.
now they're Bray's Ascension. And you know what? They're going to help him ascend to being a god that he believes that he is.
I like all of this. I'm so sold because I want mean, nasty. I don't give a fuck about anything. Like I am better than you, and you will either bow or you will die. Kind of Bray, and all we have is like goofy, laughing, upside down dreadlock Bray, and I don't like that.
No,
it doesn't work because he doesn't like. You didn't see the Undertaker laughing ever. You don't see.
I mean,
these
that one
other-
time with Lesnar, but that was weird for all of us.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you don't like take Bray seriously as a supernatural entity. Take him seriously as this mean monster bruiser, and just. But yeah, I like that. I like that thing because like, he still thinks like he still is in like the feud with Matt, but he's just like, listen, man, like you're being weird, and I'm over this like this playing
Right.
like, this playing at cult leader thing. Like it's done.
Right.
I'm done with it. Like yeah. So.
And this can sort of lead to not even, we don't have to get to a sort of final deletion match, but we get to, it just a match between Bray and Broken Matt where Bray just demolishes him.
Like Lesnar Cena SummerSlam.
Right.
Demolish.
Just absolutely destroys him because that final deletion match needs to be that's the match that Matt has to go over in. Matt doesn't need to go over until then.
No.
That needs
Not
to be
really.
right. Because he's fine either way.
Yeah.
So just have Bray just destroy him. Have the Ascension come out and destroy Matt and Jeff so that Jeff has to become Brother Nero. Have them just start running roughshod over the jobbers on Raw just for fun. Just to make them look mean and nasty. And then you get the final deletion where you get Bray and the Ascension so that Bray doesn't have to eat the pin against Matt and Brother Nero, and they'll put a third in there. Let's just say Elias for fun. And you then have your sort of wacky, crazy, off-the-wall final deletion match. You can make it a 20-minute segment at WrestleMania because it's going to be 90 fucking hours.
That's for sure.
And that
It's
way,
an all-day, night, and week event.
exactly. And then at least you get 20 minutes of WrestleMania that doesn't piss you off as a smart fan. It's so
Don't
simple.
be a smart, you asshole.
I know. Can't help it sometimes. You book something now, Bryan. Jesus.
I'm actually going to take something that Nick and I had talked about earlier this week.
Boo.
How
I don't remember what it is, so
I don't remember anything I do.
That's fine.
That's why I have to check my Twitter feed when we do this.
How to fix the mid to low mid card.
yes.
And it's pretty
remember.
easy.
Of what? Just in general?
In
or
general.
like- okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Add a new title to each show. So I'll start with SmackDown. And we were talking about having SmackDown get a TV title, just like the old WCW days, where you can have these kind of really, really talented mid-card guys have a title that is important, but obviously isn't as important. It's never going to headline a pay-per-view. At best, it's going to headline a regular week of SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
But you also give it the possibility of, like, there is a title that will believably change hands in the main shows. Because there's so much talent on all of these rosters that you can kind of drop this to.
And there's only going to be more with NXT. There's only going to be more coming through.
So I mean, right now you're looking at it with the U.S. title, but there's so many other people on the roster that could hold it. I mean, obviously, or I would probably say give it to either Rude or Ziggler first.
Sure.
Just because it kind of
Legitimacy.
yeah, it's a legitimacy thing, and it's just kind of building those stepping stones of like you used to have the cruiserweight title, or even back in the day it was the light heavyweight title. They had the IC title and then the world championship. So like back before there were multiple rosters, you had 3 belts on the main shows, and that kind of gave everybody a way in. For Raw, we had a slightly different idea, just because Raw has kind of a different feel to it, a little bit more aggressive. It kind of has Vince's hands on it still. Bring back the hardcore title. Where obviously it doesn't have to be as super aggressive. You're not going to have the same unprotected chair shots of
Falls Count Anywhere hardcore title.
Yes,
are we doing
yes.
that?
24/7.
We are saying 24/7 rules.
Jesus Christ. Undertaker's gonna have that belt 19 times.
But here's what you can do with this.
Just Rhino having the belt for whatever reason.
Since we're
Heath
no longer
Slater.
in the days
He's
of
got kids.
Since we're in the days of broadcast TV, you can have people like win it over Twitter.
Instagram.
Have Instagram championship matches.
Oh God.
Where, before you would have you would get
You go like Facebook Live or something like that.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, or
before you would
Instagram
have
Live or...
a clip during the main show of this is who the title changed hands to throughout the week. Now you can do it live.
Yeah.
You can have it so that I'm trying to think of people's names.
Just think about the text alert that you get. I don't know. Dana Brooke just pinned Heath Slater for the for the hardcore championship.
Yeah, it would be crazy.
Sold.
Plus, as I said, I mean, Raw has a kind of meter. Or honestly, it gets these fucking hosses out of the main title
Think about Braun with that belt.
Braun Strowman will hold, or Braun Strowman is probably going to be the most realistic first champ in that. But since it's a hardcore belt, it makes sense that he will lose, because eventually you will have somebody hitting him with a garbage truck and getting the pin. You can actually change the title believably, as opposed to now you have this issue where
you can't have Braun eat a pin unless it's to somebody who is Lesnar-esque, so
right.
You're done protecting people. The hardcore rules kind of throw everything out the window to where all right, I see how he took him down with 18 steel steps to the head and 4 chair shots and all that good shit.
He hit him with a taser. Yeah, of course he stayed down for the 3 count.
He attacked Braun in the shower.
Right.
I really nothing is more inspiring for that sort of concept than the sort of the DDT heavy metal weight Iron Man fucking belt that everybody in a blow up doll has had. That's exactly what you want.
More than one different blow up doll.
Multiple blow up dolls have held this belt. Vince McMahon's Hollywood Walk of Fame star has held this belt. But that's besides the point. Give me that in the WWE and give me Elias chasing that belt.
Yeah, because Elias would be a natural fit into that kind of thing. But the great thing is that it also kind of tones down Raw, because you have this almost silly constant fight for the belt going on. So it kind of you kind of take what is overly serious and melodramatic most of the time.
Yeah.
And you have this kind of over the top championship run going on at the same time.
Yes.
So where the TV title would be more legitimizing SmackDown,
right?
Where you just have these great Raw talents who are still young. They're not quite the A talent, even though they're clearly fucking A talent.
Give the TV title to fucking Sammy.
Yeah, you could give it to, or you can give it to Sammy. You can have people like Heath Slater in the contention for it.
Kurt Hawkins could have a purpose.
That was our idea, was have a 20-man over-the-top battle royal and have...
start the TV title? Or
to start
yes.
the TV title.
Okay.
Have Kurt Hawkins win it, breaking his streak.
Of losing.
And then have him drop it the next week.
Exactly. It's perfect. I would love that.
I'm okay. I'm okay with that.
an
I
extra-
like your idea too, where it makes SmackDown more serious or more legitimizing, and then Raw stops taking itself so fucking seriously all the time.
And an extra belt adds so much story to each show, so
you can
much
do
more
more.
purpose.
Yeah.
Right, because now it gives those undercarders a reason to be on TV again.
Right.
And it also gives you the opportunity to rest up your top talent of just
Exactly.
if you're having a 20-man over the top battle royal for the TV title, you don't need to have AJ or Jinder on TV
What
for
makes
a week.
what makes these top talents really like great on NXT is because like when Adam Cole and Aleister Black go and have a match, you're
It's a
like, oh
spectacle.
shit, like
Yeah.
they're having a match. They haven't had a match since the War Games,
Right.
And they probably won't have a match for another 2 or 3 weeks. So it is important when they're on TV. Whereas these guys are on TV on the main roster every week to the point where you're just rolling your eyes at Seth Rollins, which you shouldn't be.
Absolutely.
No,
Absolutely.
We shouldn't feel this way
shouldn't
about
be
the bar.
jaded.
Yeah.
We shouldn't feel this way about Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins.
Right.
Unless if you're my wife, apparently. You should
Everybody's wrong sometimes.
you should look at these people and be like, they are incredible talents, but the fact is that we're having the same match every week, and it's just exhausting.
Yeah.
Like, that was my issue with this week, was nothing was new. There was nothing about this week
Most
that
you
I
got was
like,
Joe. Most you got was Joe and Cesaro doing good things, which bright spots in a pretty.
Otherwise, bland fucking show.
Yup.
But yeah, I mean, I think that would add a lot of color. I think that it would be really fun. And most importantly, there's so much raw talent on these rosters. Why are we watching the same 8 people every week?
Exactly.
Excited for Raw next week, though. I mean, I think Raw next week is when they're really going to start kicking the
Yes.
tires and lighting the fires.
They have
I'm
to.
excited for Clash of Champions because we've discussed before. I don't think that either or that any of us really have a clear understanding of what's going to happen.
Sure.
Oh yeah, we didn't even go over Clash.
There's one match that I think that we all feel pretty confident that we know the ending to.
AJ Jinder.
No, I was
That-
gonna.
I'm
or-
pretty confident on that one.
I'm not convinced completely.
But they're
I'm
not
more
gonna give it back
convinced
to-
because
terrible.
because Triple H did his best Triple H impersonation and buried the fuck out of Jinder Mahal in
Sure
India.
did. I'd like to note, deservedly so.
Motherfucker brought his shovel.
We'll see. I'll watch Clash. I'm excited.
I'm gonna watch it. Of course, we're gonna watch it.
Obviously,
I'm
yeah.
really excited because we know that Sammy and Kevin are gonna win because obviously they're not gonna get fired. But
Have
how?
to.
Yeah, it's all about the how in the wrestling.
Yes,
It's all about the
that match has a lot of different ways that it could end, and it's pretty intriguing to see what's going to happen.
Stay tuned. Watch or keep track of the Towers Underground Twitter at TowersUG, because on Sunday we will be live tweeting Clash of Champions.
with the hashtag Kayfabe Club.
Yes, that.
Follow it.
Please like, subscribe, comment, let us know how we're doing, and we appreciate it.
Follow PB and Ladies on Twitter because I want Twitter followers.
Share us with your friends.
Yes.
Share us with your enemies.
Just share us.
Yeah.
Just share us.
We're fun.
Tell people.
We just want to hang out in your ears.
Yeah.
Cool.
We're saying the things that you might be thinking. Maybe.
See you next time, you marks.